Hey everybody, Happy New Year. Welcome back to today's video. If you guys are new to the channel, I am Tanner Holmes and I race outlaw karts and sprint cars all over the West Coast, and I document it all for my YouTube channel. It is officially 2020 and I could not be more excited for the new year. It's a fresh start. The motivation kind of comes back because sometimes at the end of the year, we're tired, we're ready to just restart, and we start slacking off. So now we're ready to get back at it, work hard, and hit all of our goals for 2020. Now, as far as the racing vlogs go, which is probably what most of you guys watch the channel for, January is our most quiet month. We don't do a whole lot of racing, definitely not in the sprint car, but we do a few races in the outlaw kart. Our first planned outlaw kart race is the 11th and 12th. That's a 2-day show. It's called the Winter Showdown up at the Roseburg Indoor, and that is in our 500cc outlaw karts. So since we have a lack of videos from actually being at the racetrack, we're going to be doing a lot of other fun stuff on this channel. Now that is going to include racing review videos where we're going to review different products or gear that I use for the vlogs or at the races. Now we're also going to go through iRacing videos and we're going to do some cool stuff on there. Then we are going to do some stuff in the shop since we're preparing for the season and everything that a driver and our crew has to do to be ready for 2020. Now this is probably going to be one of the most helpful videos for some of you young drivers or people that really like to film and go back and watch your races. So today we are going to be talking about my favorite and probably the only GoPro mount I will ever use for my outlaw kart and my sprint car. And the mount that I am talking about and I've currently used for just over a year now is the Joe's Racing Products Universal GoPro mount. Now this high quality aluminum GoPro mount is designed to be able to pivot and swivel to get the best shot possible. You can put this thing pretty much anywhere on your car and you never have to get a new mount. The only thing you have to do is get a different size hose clamp to fit the bar that you want to put it on. And that is truly what I love so much about this mount is you can just do so much with it. We're going to get a little bit more in depth, but just to show you right off the bat, I can rotate it right there with the swivel and you can just get so many different angles. So that's what we're going to be diving into in this video, and we're going to show you guys the mount a little bit more. So today while we go through this GoPro mount, there's 3 things that I'm going to really talk about that, for example, someone like me who vlogs the races and tries to make the best possible content and doesn't always have a lot of time in between races to get to focus on this and to focus on the shots that I'm getting, this thing makes it easy for me. So the ease of use is a huge deal. Also, it keeps your GoPro safe. This mount is very, very strong and will protect it. I've only had this mount fall off once and it was just part of it. And it was not the mount's fault, it was the user's fault. It's because I forgot to tighten one of the Allens. And just like anything, if you forget to tighten something, it's gonna fall apart. So while using this mount, your GoPro will be safe. And the third thing that I really like about the universal mount is that it provides the most smooth footage for me to present to you guys. When I post a video on YouTube, I don't want shaky footage or horrible audio or anything that is gonna hinder your guys' watching of the video. With this thing, I've got nothing but good feedback from how the GoPro angles are, how smooth the footage is, and how crisp it looks. So let's dive right into number 1, which is the ease of use. I need GoPro mounts that are easy to use, easy to take on and off the car, because in between heats in a dash or heats in an A or qualifying hot laps, all this stuff that's chaotic and going on throughout the night, I need to be able to change angles quickly where it only takes me a minute so I can still be in tune with what's going on, what we need to do to the race car. In any free minute I have, I can just change the GoPro real quick. And that's what this mount provides. Now also, I don't even necessarily have to change spots with this mount because of the pivot points and the rotation I can do with the swivel. I can really put one spot and make it 3 angles I can use throughout the night. So now I'm gonna play a video for you guys. I went down to my shop, I put it in my normal spot, which is right above my left side shoulder. And that, in my opinion, is the best angle for main events and when we're actually racing. During qualifying and hot laps is when you can get the really fun angles of, the cockpit cams, the facing backwards, maybe a up top shot, so many different things, and that's what this mount is perfect for. So as you saw from that clip, it's really not that hard. All you guys have to do is loosen a few Allens and all of a sudden you can have 5 or 6 different angles all from one spot. And the great thing about this, when we went on Speed Week, it wasn't always me dealing with the GoPros. I could have my buddy Bennett, I could have Carly. I mean, there's not much really to learn. You loosen and tighten it with this little tool, you make sure the hose clamp is tight, and you're ready to go. Now, one of the most convenient parts about owning a universal mount is that you don't have to buy 5 or 6 mounts to fit different spots on the car. All you have to do is carry around about 3 or 4 hose clamps and you can put it anywhere on a sprint car, anywhere on an outlaw cart, anywhere on a modified, anywhere on a late model. That's what's so cool about it. Because it's a lot cheaper to buy 3 or 4 hose clamps than it is to buy 3 or 4 GoPro mounts. And I know that because before I got this mount, I tried a few others and I had to buy different sizes, and that was much more expensive. Real quick, before we move on to talking about the durability, I'm gonna play a quick 20 to 30 second montage of a bunch of different angles I've gotten with this GoPro mount. Now moving on to number 2, the durability. These mounts are very, very strong. I forgot to tighten one of the Allens at Grace Harbor, like I mentioned. It fell off the car. I still use the mount today. The only thing that it broke was the GoPro case, which I wasn't surprised because many cars had ran over it, but the GoPro's still fine, the footage was all still good, and the mount was okay. Now, besides when I forgot to tighten it down, I have not had any issues with it. It has been through a few gnarly wrecks in the outlaw cart. I flipped really, really hard at Millbridge, had this mount on, the GoPro didn't even move. It was still looking forward, stayed straight, the exact same angle as when I rolled out on the track. Now, as far as durability of the mount and making sure your camera stays safe, there's not really a whole lot else I can say. All I know is I have had no issues with it. I've been very happy with the shots that it's gotten and how it has brought all my cameras back to the pits once it's been out on the racetrack. So I would definitely rate it a 5 stars there. Now moving on to number 3, which we talked about, smooth footage. So also from a vlogger standpoint and someone who posts a lot of footage on the internet, and anybody that wants to watch their footage back, because I think GoPros or any action camera is one of the best tools to learn, because you can go back and see mistakes you made, things you did right, things that other drivers did that you could also try. And probably the number one thing that I experience, and that is that sometimes on the racetrack, things happened a lot different after watching the footage back than it felt happened on the track when you actually were in the moment. And that's probably the biggest thing that I learned from watching the footage. So when you're watching your footage back on the couch with your family, or if you're wanting to post it to the internet, you want high quality, smooth footage that people are gonna be able to watch and know what's going on. And if you're not able to do that, you don't want the mount that you have. Now, ever since I switched from plastic mounts to now this aluminum universal mount, my footage has looked more clean and very, very smooth. You can see exactly what's going on inside of the cockpit. And so really, this thing has everything that you want. As I mentioned, it's easy to use. All you need is a little Allen wrench and you can get a million different angles from a bunch of different spots. Number 2, it keeps your camera safe, and that's exactly what they describe on the Joe's website. This mount reduces your chances of having a GoPro fall or get knocked off your car. It will at least stay on there if you get in an incident, and when you come back to the pits, your camera and mount will be fine. And then number 3, this GoPro mount provides clean and smooth footage for you to go back and rewatch. Because I know when I have a good race, even if it's a year or two later, I will still go back and watch like my first open win at Red Bluff or some 250 wins, and I can pull up my GoPro and I can watch it and I'll be like, wow, that's really not that good a quality, or that's really shaky. But when I go back and watch videos from about 6 months ago, I can really tell the difference between those old mounts and this new one. Now, if you guys don't already have one of these, they are $99, so it is a little bit expensive, but if you look at other GoPro mounts in the competing market, it's really not that far off. And then also, like I mentioned, you don't have to buy 5 or 6 of these. You have to buy 1 or 2 if you like to have a few GoPros on your car, and then a few different hose clamps, and you're gonna be ready to go. So I would highly recommend go checking it out. It's the Joe's Racing Products Universal GoPro mount. I'll put a link at the top of the description. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really enjoy shooting reviews. Let me know if you want more of them in the comments section down below. And anyway, share the video or getting the new year started off right. And I highly recommend for this year, you get one of these mounts. You'll be able to get faster by rewatching your footage, learn from it, show all your buddies, show your mom and dad, and post it to the internet. But anyway, I'll see you guys all in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Deuces.